Hello students, welcome to All4's e-learning junior intermediate English class. I am very much delighted to appear before you once again to explain you one more topic from module 4, that is spoken English and broken English, written by George Bernard Shaw. Dear students, before I start the session, let me give you some information pertaining to English. You know very well, English is the means of communication. Language is the means of communication. In different areas, people use different languages to express their feelings. As you know very well, India is known for unity in diversity. Indians speak many languages, whereas you take the countries from Europe. For example, you take America, you take England, you take Australia, their main language is English. Dear students, when we communicate our feelings, different people express their views in a different style. Accent varies from area to area. When we want to go abroad, it is inevitable to learn English, that you know very well. Even native speakers, if you take, they can't speak English perfectly. So, the author clearly explains that one need not worry about speaking English. Anybody can speak English. We should have some sort of inclination to learn that particular language. We can learn. Even English is also like that. There is a big essay here, dear students. This is in fact a lecture delivered by George Bernard Shaw. He is well known after William Shakespeare. He is next to William Shakespeare in popularity, and this gentleman was born in Dublin 1856. He was a public speaker, essayist, critic, commentator and dramatist. You know, he campaigned for many causes, including the simplification of the English alphabet and spelling. And his prominent plays, Widow's Houses, Man and Superman, Saint John and Pygmalion. And this was made into a film titled My Fair Lady. In that a flower girl was trained to speak English. Coming to this particular one, spoken English and broken English. This lecture is extracted from the George Bernard Shaw's one of the lectures, and that lecture was delivered in Lingophone Institute in 1927. So there is a lot of wit. We can find wit in this lecture. And he can clearly says that one can speak English very well. One need not worry to learn English, because even the native speakers cannot speak English correctly. So he clearly suggests the foreigners that they should learn English. They need not worry. So there is a lot of which we can find in it. The style is very simple, and of course it is rhetoric. The ideas are original and thought-provoking. So there are almost 12 paragraphs, my dear young students. If you have the textbook with you, please open, and I explain you line to line very lucidly, very clearly. You please pay attention, and dear students, it is very necessary to learn English and to speak in English, as it has become the order of the day. Okay, let me start the lesson, dear students. I am now going to suppose that you are a foreign student of the English language. I refer to the author here. I am now going to suppose that you are a foreign student of the English language. You are a foreign student of the English language. Foreign student means the person who does not belong to that particular country. It's a foreigner. Suppose we are foreigners to Britishers and Americans. So that's what to the foreigners is telling, and that you decide to speak it well enough to be understood when you travel in the British Commonwealth or in America, or when you meet a native of those countries. So the author is going to suppose that the reader is a foreigner and he would like to speak English when he travels in America or British Commonwealth, and speak to the people of that particular countries, or when he wants to speak to natives of those countries. He is going to suppose that. Or it may be that you are yourself a native, but that you speak in a provincial or Cockney dialect of which you are a little ashamed, or which perhaps prevents you from obtaining some employment which is open to those only who speak what is called correct English. So in the second point, he is clearly saying that not even the foreigner, even the native speaker who speaks the language of a particular province. Cockney dialect means that is the area in a particular place in England. The people at different areas speak differently. You take any language. For example, you take Telugu. You take Telangana people. Telangana people speak Telugu, and Andhra people and Rayalaseema people also speak Telugu, but the accent varies. We speak in a style, and Rayalaseema people speak Telugu in a different style, and Andhra people also. English is also like that. And that particular person feels somewhat ashamed of. There won't be any purity in expression. In general English, in general expression, in general language, daily we speak. No? So in that there may not be essence, but we convey our thoughts in our language. Okay. And sometimes that person, because of his accent, because of his expression in English, he may lose the job, because that person cannot speak perfect English. He may speak English, even the native speaker. You take our Telugu people. All Telugu people can't speak Telugu alike. Some Telugu people speak Telugu in a pure manner, and you take some other people speak normally. Our main intention is to convey our thoughts, whether it is very pure or whether it is normal. The main objective is that the listener should understand what we speak. It is very important. That's why the author clearly says here, you try to understand. Now, whether you are a foreigner or a native, the first thing I must impress on you is that there is no such thing as ideally correct English. No two British subjects speak exactly alike. So I would like to give a good piece of advice, my dear listeners. He was giving a big lecture and he was telling all the listeners who carried gramophones. It was very clear to them, and he said to them, no two British speakers speak alike. No two British subjects means no two British people. No two persons speak alike. There is no correct English. That varies in expressions, the disclosures, or the words and the way of speech and the words they use. That varies from person to person. So that's what he says in the first paragraph. Now let me come to the second paragraph, my dear students. You please pay attention. I am a member of a committee established by the British Broadcasting Corporation for the purpose of deciding how the utterances of speakers employed by the corporation should be pronounced in order that they should be a model of correct speech for the British Islands. I was a member of the committee. That committee was framed by BBC, that is British Broadcasting Corporation. For what purpose that committee was formed? To observe the utterances, means the words delivered by the employees of British Broadcasting Corporation, how they speak, how they utter, and they should become a model. You know very well, even we also sometimes say to others, to enhance your language skills, especially English, listen to BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. That is one of the objectives, that is one of the means to learn English language. Okay, dear students, and he was member of that committee. Why was he selected as the member of that committee? You will come to know soon. All the members of that committee are educated persons. All the members of that committee are educated persons. They are learned people. They are efficient people whose speech would pass as correct and refined in any society or any employment in London. It was accepted that their speech was refined and their words were excellent and their utterances were purified and their speeches would be accepted in London and in the British Islands. Okay, our chairman is the poet laureate, who is not only an artist. Laureate means the main poet in the king's empire, who is not only an artist whose materials are the sounds of spoken English. His materials are the sounds of spoken English. That means he worked a lot on spoken English, and he gave many pieces of advice, and they were taken into consideration to enhance one's spoken skills. But a specialist in their pronunciation. Pronunciation is also very much important. So this man was a specialist in that. One of our members is Sir Johnston Forbes Robertson. Sir Johnston Forbes Robertson. Famous not only as an actor but the beauty of his speech. Famous not only as an actor but he is known for the beauty of his speech. He's a good orator. He's a good speaker. Okay, I was selected for service on the committee because as a writer of plays. Why was our author selected in that committee? Because he was a writer of the plays. I am accustomed to superintend their rehearsals and to listen critically to the way in which they are spoken by actors who are by profession trained speakers. They are all trained speakers. Okay, so he was selected in that committee as a dramatist. He knows. He designed many characters, so he could critically test or observe the utterances or the words delivered by the speakers who are none other than the trained employees. I am accustomed to verify their rehearsals, and I have a long experience as a public speaker. That's why they have selected me as one of the members of that committee. Then you see, my dear students, that committee knows as much as anyone knows about English speech. That committee members know English as anyone knows English, because they are native speakers. They all know English as we know Telugu and other languages in our country. They know English because that is the main language in those countries. And yet its members do not agree as to the pronunciation of some of the simplest and commonest words in the English language. Yet its members do not agree. The pronunciation of the commonest words, the words which are regularly used by the speakers, they do not agree. How? You see here, simplest and commonest words. You see, the two simplest and commonest words in any language are yes and no. But no two members of the committee pronounce them exactly alike. No two members do not speak exactly same. Simplest words, commonest words, yes and no. Even we also observe. You take different actors, their style is different. One person says yes, one person says actors yes, another person says yes. One more actor says Yes, you can observe the style. One person says no, 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 like this. These are the commonest and simplest words, but no two persons speak them similarly. And you see here, all that can be said is that every member pronounces them in such a way that they would not only be intelligible in every English speaking country, but would stamp the speaker as a cultivated person as distinguished from an ignorant and illiterate one. All that can be said is that every member pronounces them in such a way that they are intelligible, in such a way that they are different from others, in such a way that they are refined, they are very pure, they are very nice, they are very dignified. That is totally different from the people who are ignorant. Our style is correct. What I said is right. Mine is very pure. My expression is good. My expression should be accepted. If many intellectuals gather at one place, there will be a lot of controversy, you know very well. They do not accept. Okay, so here the speakers whose words were observed by the committee members, okay, it was very difficult for the speakers to satisfy all the members of that committee. So that's what here the author also says clearly. You see, my dear students, you will say, well, that is good enough for me. You may say that that is very good for me. Okay, that is how I desire to speak. Okay, you may say that I would like to speak that. But which member of the committee will you take for your model? Which member of the committee do you want to take as your model? If you say one way, yes, the other person may not accept. It's not like that. Your expression, your accent is not correct. And if you say in others style, this person may not accept. So it was very difficult for the speakers also. There are Irish members, Scottish members, okay, different members were there in the committee, and Welsh members, Oxford University members. Oxford University members and Welsh means British members and American members, all recognizable as such by their differences of speech. All were acknowledged. All were recognized with their differences of their speech of their particular country. They differ also according to the country in which they were born. They differ according to the country in which they were born. Even, you see, my dear students, English varies from place to place. As our language, you take Hindi or you take Telugu, any language you take, it differs from area to area. Telugu is spoken in Telangana, Telugu is spoken in Andhra and Rayalaseema. You observe the accent, you observe the pronunciation, you can come to know the difference. That's it. Okay, dear students, and you see here, as they all speak differently, it is nonsense to say that they all speak correctly. As they speak differently, it is senseless to say that they are speaking correct English. Some people may speak very fast. Some people may speak very slowly. You need not worry that person is speaking very fast and his fluency is extraordinary. What an English he used. I am being surprised. But there may be so many mistakes. It is nonsense to say that they are speaking correct English. Some people say, oh, I does not come to college tomorrow. Very fast he says, but that expression is wrong. Oh, I not came to college yesterday. It is wrong expression. I did not come to college yesterday. That is correct expression. But in a flow he says, I not came to college yesterday. You came, huh? Mongrelization of language. In English, regional language is mixed like that people speak. It is really absurd. That leads to comedy. There won't be any essence in that. You don't feel that people, when they speak English like that, you don't come to a conclusion that they are speaking correct English. You can speak English in any way you like. You develop the habit of speaking first of all. Secondly, if you learn the grammar, you can speak well. That is a different thing. Okay, dear students, and you see here, all we can claim is that they all speak presentably. Presentably. What is very much required here, whatever I say, you should understand. Whether I speak correct English or wrong English, that is different. That will not be taken into consideration. What I want to convey, I should convey in English, and that should be understood by you. Okay, dear students. And that if you speak as they do, you will be understood in any English speaking country and accepted as a person of good social standing. If you speak in the manner they speak, that can be understood. Suppose a person comes from other state to Telangana. Okay, if that person speaks Telugu in our regional accent, we can understand. We can understand very easily. English is also same. That can be received very easily. That can be understood by the listener very clearly. It does not mean that you speak English correctly. Okay, dear students, and of course, one should learn English perfectly. That is a different concept. But to convey your feelings, you are expected to speak English. That's it. Okay, dear students, and here you see, I wish I could offer you your choice among them as a model. Okay, any person you can take as your choice. Irish members, Scottish members, Welsh members, Americans, you can take anybody as your role model. We also take some people as our role models, some experts. So he says here, and but for the moment I'm afraid you must put up with me, an Irishman. As an Irishman, I am supposed to say that you follow me. So you follow my accent. The author says like that as one of the committee members, and I don't say that you follow me. According to your interest, you can follow anybody. As an Irishman, I tell you that you can follow me, but it is not compulsory. Okay, dear students, so this is the lecture of the day. Still many passages are there, so we'll have to complete in the next session. Okay, dear students, remember one thing: English speaking is not difficult. As you give up your phobia, speak, go on speaking. First develop the habit of speaking, whether it is correct or wrong, it is immaterial. Improve the flow first of all. Okay, dear students, thanks very much for listening to the lecture. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.